To the, where are we? The March meeting of the Warren Town Council. First on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance, and I would like our town planner, Herb, to lead us in that, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, first on the agenda is the public comment period. This is where anybody can address anything that's not on the agenda. We can't really take action on it because it is not on the agenda, but it is open for anyone. Is there anyone that would like to speak?
I do.
Go ahead.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for being here. I may say this once a year. Maybe it's been a few years, but I think it really is important to be said again. If you live in the town of Warren, if you are visiting the town of Warren, or if you are just passing through the town of Warren, please know this town is not your garbage receptacle. You may not throw your nips, your plastic cups and with straws, your bags of whatever. You can't just throw them to the side. This town is not your ashtray. If you smoke, good on you. That's your choice. The town is not an ashtray. If you smoke, responsibly dispose of the cigarette butts. Cigarette butts are not biodegradable. They are full of toxins. They are full of carcinogens. They make their way into our water, and it's poison. Do not put your cigarette butts down on the ground, stamp them out, and walk away from them. It's not okay. It is despicable and it is disgusting. And finally, this town is not your dog's toilet. Dog refuse, dog waste on our sidewalks, on our lawns, and our public spaces and parks and streets, it's out of control. It is disgusting. We very courteously and very graciously have put up a number of dog waste stations around town, which quite frankly are not, people are just abusing the courtesy by taking all of the bags rather than buying their own. We're not a service to give you free dog waste bags. If you happen not to have one with you and your dog does its business, hopefully there will be one there so you can pick it up and throw it away responsibly. But that's not why they're there. And people aren't picking up after their dogs. If you go on the bike path, and granted that is RIDOT, you can't even walk on the shoulders because it is just a minefield of dog waste. It is disgusting. I can't want my dog there anymore. And I have a hard time walking my dog on our town sidewalks because I don't want to track other dogs' waste back into my home. It is despicable. And I'm sure nobody in this room is doing it. I'm sure everybody is responsible, are responsible dog owners, but there's a lot of people out there who aren't. So do better, be better. And we do have actual laws on the books that say it is illegal to walk away and leave dog waste, garbage, and all of that. We should enforce, but in the meantime, just be more responsible. That's it.
Anybody want to follow that?
Yeah, if you pick up dog poop and put it in a bag, don't throw it back out. Leave the dog poop. I'm saying that as, if you're gonna throw out a bag of dog poop.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
everybody, poop in a bag.
all right. Okay, let's, the public comment. I was going to have a little something to say, but I don't know if I want to follow that. Actually, what I want to say is I want to thank the police chief, Roy Borges, who stepped up, acted as the interim town manager in our lack of one, did a stand-up job, didn't complain, well, publicly, but he did a really, really good job. And I want to thank him. Okay, that being said,
Like I said, how hard can it be, Roy? How hard can it be?
The next on the agenda is the oath of office of the new town manager. I'm going to ask his wife Shilpa to come down and read him the oath. And for those that don't know, she is a judge, so he better obey this oath.
I gave.
Do you have a copy of this?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Do you, Brian Sullivan, do you solemnly swear that you will be true and faithful unto this state and support the laws and Constitution and the Constitution of the United States, that you will, in all respects, observe the provisions of the Charter and the ordinances of the town of Warren, and you will faithfully discharge the duties of the town manager for the ensuing term, or until another engaged in your place, or until you will be legally discharged therefrom. So help you God.
I do.
Congratulations.
There's no return receipt on this.
Yeah. Okay, next on the agenda is a resolution. This was brought forth by me. This is a resolution that relates to the state building code. There's some wording in this resolution that I think is great, but there's some of it that I think is very bad and is not going to be good for local communities and towns. There's wording in this ordinance where the state building commissioner is limited by the existing law for state-owned and controlled properties. This resolution removes that from him and puts him in charge of all residential and commercial properties in the state of Rhode Island. Basically, in my opinion, what that's going to do is that's going to set it up like the state fire marshal's office, where you have deputy fire marshals in your localities, but they all answer to the state fire marshal. In my experience as a building official dealing with this, it does not expedite anything. I can't tell you how many times I've heard, I'll get back to you, I have to go to the state, or I can't do that, I have to go to the state. There already is a provision that they're taking out, which gives the state building commissioner the authority to go into a local municipality if there is no local building official. So the communities that don't have building officials, the state already has that authority to go in. This gives him the authority to go in at any and all times and be the ultimate say in every community when it comes to building code issues. I have a problem with that. It's not going to expedite the process. It's just going to make a mess out of it. I sent each one of the, make sure each one of the councils get a copy of the bill to read it. I'm proposing this resolution. I'm asking for a vote on it. I don't know if it's going to be supported or not. So that's what the first item is. Any comments?
I do. I would just like to, for clarification, let the public know that the bill has been changed now. It is, the sponsors are not as listed here on Bill 7701. It's been changed to bill number, is it 7938, I believe?
8-3, I think, Carrie.
7983.
I believe so, yeah.
Some of those numbers, and it is being heard tonight and discussed tonight they're taking comments on it tonight. So I think some of John's concerns may in fact end up being addressed and being taken out. So I'm personally not ready to support or oppose this opposition to the bill because the bill isn't in a final state. So that's my position.
I agree. We received an email from Representative Speakman, and she explained some of this and that they're hearing this tonight, and the concerns will be registered at that hearing. So I would feel more comfortable letting that process play out, and then look at that, what comes out of that, and I'd be more than happy to support Council President at that time. But right now, it seems like it's being acted on and heard out. So I'd feel more comfortable there. Thank you.
John, much more succinctly, what exactly is, the opposition to I can't even find it. I had it out.
It's right here, Joe. The opposition.
Lines
the-
15 through 18, you said? or-
Yeah, my opposition is where the way the state law stands now, it strictly limits the state building commissioner's authority to state-owned or properties that are permanently in control by permanently controlled by the state of Rhode Island. In other words, he can't come in to Warren and say, you can't do this, or you can do that, or you can't do this, unless the local official invites him, or if we don't have a building official.
He or her, are there any females?
Well, the current building commissioner is a he, so
Okay.
that's why I'm saying that. So they can come in and do that. Or if this law changes, say our building official makes a ruling on something, he can come right down and say, nope, that's not gonna happen. I say, you can't do this. Or if Matt rejects something, he can come right down and say, nope, you can do that. It takes the local control away. It is a state building code, but each community has its own little quirks and uniqueness. And there are some, you have a little wiggle room to maneuver in what you think is best for your community. This will take that away.
Well, if it weakens our position as a town on a building ordinance, I would like, although I've heard that the legislature is listening, now is the time to hear our voice. So if it does weaken our local control, I'm in favor of what you're opposed to.
So I read it. Some may know, some may not know that my family has been in the development business for 35 years. I've held a contractor's license in this state for 35 years. They, throughout the years, have implemented training, which seems to like they want to start identifying. But the stuff that I'm reading in this is at the state level. It really has nothing to do with us, except to take control, and I have issue with that. The way that the comprehensive permit plans are now being implemented that are restricting our planning and zoning, and if this is going to further restrict our ability to have control at the local level, then yes, I definitely would support a resolution going to the state and let our voice be heard, because enough is enough. And if they want to have total control, then they can come down here and they can have their local meetings and they can have their local people and they can have the local folks call them and complain to them, because they complain to us. And as far as the reps that I see on this, the only one that I do know that might have some building experience was John Edwards. The other reps, no. So, yes.
Okay.
So I will make a motion unless you want to have further discussion.
No, I just,
If I may,
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Carrie?
The reps who were listed here as sponsors are no longer the sponsors.
it's-
There is another bill that is being discussed tonight that is very similar, if not exactly like this, but it has a completely different list of sponsors.
Okay, fair enough.
So that's,
I make a motion to oppose this resolution that we have in front of us. I don't know the other one.
Okay, can I just make a suggestion?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Amend the bill number
To
because the bill is identical,
7983,
but it
correct.
is 7983 now.
Yeah.
I will make an amendment to my motion that I am opposed to Bill 7983 in the current language that I have in front of me.
Second,
We have a second, and just before the vote, I would just like to somewhat quote Ronald Reagan. The nine scariest words a community can hear is, I'm from the state and I'm here to help. So we have a motion and a second. Do we have all in favor? Aye.
I
Opposed?
Hey,
or,
yeah,
okay,
sorry.
yeah. I'm opposed to the opposing resolution.
You're opposed to the resolution that was in front of you, just amended to 7983, okay?
Yes.
And I'm gonna have the clerk's going to adjust this and I'll re-sign it tomorrow with the correct bill number. All right, that's done. Next, we go to appointments. First, we have the Board of Canvassers. We have one term that's expiring, it's not vacant. We have the existing member would like to continue. There are 3 other nominations from the other party, 5 other nominations, excuse me. What's the Council's flavor.
I make a motion to reappoint Joanne Kirsch to the full position on the Board of Canvassers.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
She's currently on the board.
She's on right now, right?
She is.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, we go to interviews. Conservation Commission, one position available, no applicants. Juvenile Hearing Board, we have one applicant, but that's being continued till next month. Planning Board, we have two alternate positions available, no applicants. Anybody that's in the audience or anybody out there in TV land, if you want to come help us out, we need these boards and commissions filled. It's a lot easier the more people that do the legwork, so please don't hesitate to sign up. Okay, next we have the Rhode Island 250th Commission. We have 7 positions available. It's being continued.
Oh, sorry.
Yep.
That's what you said.
So we have the 7 positions available. We have 3 applicants. The first one is Deborah Jobin. Deborah, are you here?
Not here.
She's not here, okay. The second one we have is Kristen Nancy Reed. Could you please come forward?
One question for the solicitor. I think we have interviewed Miss Jobin in the past. And isn't that a common practice that if we interviewed someone in the past, we could appoint them?
The second part of your statement is correct. I don't have a memory of it myself, but if she's been interviewed before, you
I
can dispense
think
with
she's
that.
been on a board, hasn't she?
I don't remember.
Blank.
No.
She was part of the American Indian Studies group.
Yeah, and we have a lack of,
Yeah, no, I'm not disagreeing with you, yeah.
I mean,
Has the full committee been filled yet? or-
No, we got 7 positions available.
and
I
they've
was,
already been meeting.
I was just
so-
gonna
Okay.
go through have all 3 come down and then we go from there. If we want to do them all or.
Doesn't
instead of
matter
one
to
at a
me.
time.
I just would like to reach out to Miss Jobin, and if she will accept our appointment, I'm willing to at that time appoint her, even though she's
Yeah,
not here. I
agree.
believe she's
So
been
you wanna- we can-
interviewed by
We'll
this.
do these one at a time instead. I was gonna do them all 3. I figured all 3 of them had a pretty good shot, so.
Yeah, we can. I just wanted to, make
Okay.
sure the solicitor was in agreement.
All right, so, Ms. Reed, please come forward. Just give a quick rundown on why you want to join the commission.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Kristen Reed. And do you need me to say anything?
You
Address
must
or
have
no?
one
Okay.
night free that you want to.
No, yeah. So, yeah, it's happily would like to support the 250th Commission. I'm part of the Historic Warren Armory and the Massasoit Historical Association, somebody who spends a lot of time doing community organizing. So I think I would be a contributor.
Great.
Wonderful.
Okay, the next applicant is Michael Gerhart. Mike.
Good evening.
Good
Good
evening.
evening.
Here,
Good to see you.
As it said on my application, I'm a trustee of the Rhode Island Historical Society. And they are acting as the fiscal agent for the state 250th commission. So I'm interested in assuring that there is adequate relationships and coordination between the state body and the local body. I'm also interested in, I have a sense that this is the 250th, it's not the 200th. So it may be difficult to generate a lot of enthusiasm. And I think we need to have unique ways of involving members of the local community in this activity. And I think that's probably what the charge of the commission is. And so I'd like to foster local involvement in this activity.
Thank you. Any questions from the council? Can we have a motion?
Motion to appoint all 3.
Second,
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
thank you.
Great, okay. Next, we have the Voluntary Historic District Committee. We have 1 position available and 1 alternate. And we have an applicant. It's Joan Brenner Coltrane. Is Joan here?
I believe you.
we did interview.
That's right, yes.
President.
Weren't we trying to figure out, weren't we, because we appointed one and we needed to make her.
Yes,
Okay, so tonight we're gonna appoint her as the alternate position?
correct, yes.
Okay. Okay,
Motion to make that appointment as an alternate.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next, we are at the acceptance of minutes. December 12, 2023. We need to continue till next month. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, next we have the February 15th, regularly scheduled town council meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
I can't vote, I wasn't here.
Okay, next we have, the January 30th executive session minutes, which we also need to continue till next month.
So moved.
Continue.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, now we have the March 4th special scheduled meeting minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
I abstain.
And then we have the March 24th, 2024 special schedule executive session minutes, which we also need to continue till next month.
So moved.
Okay. All right, next we have the consent.
Oh,
agenda.
second.
Oh, yeah,
Thank you.
sorry. Trying to get it.
That's all right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next, we have the consent agenda. Is there anything anybody wants to pull, or you want to vote it as one motion? This would be P1.
Motion to approve the
And
consent
P2.
agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, moving along. Next, we are on ordinance 01. This is regarding the police department. Chief, would you like to speak on this? Is this the
It's
second
the second
reading?
reading.
Second reading.
Okay, second reading.
Yep. Any questions from the council on the second reading?
No.
Okay. We have a,
Straightforward. Motion to approve.
Second.
we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Next is public hearing number 1. This is for a Class BV beverage license from Canto 10 Inc. Michael Sayers. Michael here, please come forward.
Hey, good evening, Mike. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Oh.
How's it going?
Just give us a little rundown on what you're looking to do.
It's a little space, like 2 doors down from Town Hall, 504 Main Street, about 700 square feet. Just want to do a little lounge with some small plates and stuff. It's
Any-
pretty much just synopsis, yeah.
Okay, questions from the council?
So, small plates, so is there a kitchen in there? Are you putting?
It's not gonna be, no open flame or anything, just like cheese plates, meat plates, couple of pâtés, stuff like that, mostly cold prep, you know.
Okay.
Maybe a little countertop oven, the electric though, but you don't need
Okay.
any, you know.
Question for the solicitor, does that meet the requirements for a BV license?
That decision is up to the building official because you have to have a kitchen
Okay.
to have a BV license.
Yeah, we went to zoning last month.
Understood.
Yes.
But it's a different question.
Oh,
Zoning is you can use it as a restaurant.
okay.
To get your BV license, you need to have a kitchen facility. That determination will be made by the building official.
Oh, all right.
You're gonna
so we
need to
can make
show
that
him your
condition.
plans
Yeah.
before the liquor license can be issued.
Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, usually the health department tells me what they want for
Them too,
food requirement, yeah.
them too.
Yeah, right. So I gotta go pull the building permit anyways, waiting till today.
No, we can, if we approve it, we can approve it
We can make it
contingent upon
conditional.
fire and building officials.
Well, it has to get issued, approved anyway for,
The proper motion is to grant the license but not issue it. Pending getting all the other approvals he needs to this point. He already has zoning.
Yeah.
He's gonna need from the building official, as you said, fire, and also from the state
Yeah.
too, so.
I haven't
that's
had fire
pending.
come in. I'm sorry. to interrupt. Fire hasn't been because I was waiting to, we haven't, the lease is contingent on approval of the license. So
We have a license?
I believe, yeah, I asked that at the department. We do have a BV available, correct? Yes, we do. Yep, so we wouldn't
Yeah.
have to create one. Yep. Any other questions from? the
Yeah,
council?
so you have another business of this nature,
I did.
and where is that? What's it
It's
called?
in Providence on South Main Street. Called the Walnut Room.
And how long have you had that business?
That's been open 4 years.
And is it a success?
Would say it's successful, yeah.
And is this business going to be similar to that?
Probably in the same line, yeah. We have a Class C license there, so kitchen's not required, which is a different type of license, which
Have you wanted to open a business in the town of Warren for a long time? Is this?
I've
like
been,
an-
I've been into business. I've opened 10 places in Providence in the last 20 years. So I think I've been issued the most licenses in the last 20 years in Providence than anybody. But I've been looking to branch out to different parts of the state.
So what unique aspect or character or ambiance will 10 Canto or Canto 10 bring to Main Street in Warren? And I will preface that with the fact that we've just had Stingy Alley opening across the street,
Yep.
which is, kind of an important spot right there. And we've got the Galactic down the street,
Yep.
and we've got Archive, and we've got,
Yeah, well, it'll
Second
definitely be
Story and-
different than those two establishments because
I'm sorry,
it'll definitely be a different vibe than those two places.
who would you say your customer base is?
Well, I mean, I haven't lived in Warren. I don't know who I'm hoping to target people going to dinner or after dinner for a drink, maybe a little appetizer or two in between. Then I like to cater to the service industry, to people that actually serve you in the restaurants so they can come in after and have a drink or something to eat after they get off their shift.
And would you be there in the business every night?
I mean, not every night, but yeah, initially I probably will be there every night till I have a manager trained
Okay.
to an acceptable level for me to not be there all the time. Yes.
I will be very forthcoming in that I am at the point in this sitting here on this council where I think we've reached almost, if not exceeded, the max capacity for drinking establishments in the town. And it concerns me that we are just becoming a watering hole and
Yeah.
exclusively. And so it's really important to me that any new business of this nature brings something that's just really unique and really well identified and well planned, and seems like there's a focus and something really special that you'd be bringing to our main street.
Yeah. I mean, I could tell you the places I opened in Providence and they were all fairly unique places. And
And they're all still in business?
I've sold them, but they all actually still operate as a restaurant or a bar
Okay,
currently.
all right.
But they all still exist, but I don't own them anymore because
I can say, I know Mr. Sears from years in Providence, you were a patron of mine at Pastiche for years, and
Oh, yeah.
I know you.
I'm like, I know him from somewhere.
I know your businesses, and so they will all run very well, but I'll echo Councilwoman Cronin's concern about, and this isn't your
Yeah, no.
issue about liquor licenses, which is a bigger
Yeah,
discussion.
I believe I got the last one available.
Well,
If
yeah,
that matters, I think.
but we
cap on-
can create them, so.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
I mean, it's.
Don't create anymore.
Give me a reason not to.
I think competition drives the economy, so I have
I
no
mean-
problem. If people like what you're doing, they're
Yeah.
gonna go there.
I mean,
If they
it's-
don't, you'll be out of business.
Yeah, I figure
luck.
people mill around Main Street and bop around and go to different places and
I just have a quick
Yeah.
question.
so.
I just have a quick question for you,
Sure.
Mike. What did zoning give you for your hours of operation?
That's usually based on a license. They didn't give me.
Yeah, what did you ask for though? Did you ask for it to be open till 1 or are you?
Yeah, we discussed it and I went by what the license goes to 1, so.
Yeah, what did zoning do? Did they go to 1?
Not sure.
Yeah,
I don't
do we
think-
know, Ben? Do you
I
remember?
don't think there were any hours.
They
of
didn't,
operation.
zoning
They
didn't
didn't
limit
do
it.
a,
Okay, he didn't limit it, so
okay.
right
So it's
now,
up
he
to,
granted, he's limited to the hours of operation that you have for a.
yeah,
Nature.
which would be 1 o'clock. Is that what you're planning?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how the flow will be, but
Sure.
might not make sense to
Yep.
stay there till 1. I've been into Galactic a few times.
I
They-
try to go to all the local places in
Yeah.
town, so.
It just seems like they stop music at midnight, but they still
Sure,
serve till 1,
Okay.
which,
thank you.
all right, no problem.
All right, any other questions from the council? Okay, this is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the public that would like to speak on this application? Okay, that being said, can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Close the public hearing.
Second,
We have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, what is the flavor of the council?
Motion to approve.
and I will second.
We have a motion and a second.
That's
Any other
contingency.
discussion?
No, that was based on just
Based on your
the getting the
legal-
inspections with the,
legal
Yeah.
ability to open.
So the motion is to grant the license but not issue it pending all of the other
Required.
Requirements like you stated earlier.
and permits and regular that he's going to need.
Thank you.
So is that it for discussion? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Good luck to you.
do you need me to stay for P3 on this?
P3, you're looking, yeah, because that's different. That's not a public hearing. So, and actually, that's next on the agenda, I believe.
There's one ahead of
Yeah,
me, I
we're
think.
skipping,
You can,
No, that's the.
No, we already
We did P2.
yeah, we did.
Yeah, so we're,
Oh, all right.
We're at P3.
yeah, so we're at P3. This is a request for a vitrilling license from Mr. Sears in regards to the BV license, which we just
Motion to approve contingent on all of your requirements.
and I will second that.
we have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yes, what is the name of the business gonna be? Is it gonna be the Serpent and its Tail?
Yes, that's the DBA, yep.
Okay. Does that mean something?
It's an ancient symbol of serpent eating its tail. Goes back to the ancient Greek. Been
Okay,
Okay,
around for a couple thousand years.
we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, good luck to you.
All right, thanks, appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Okay, next we have P4. This is for an MFE permit. This is from Yappa LLC. Is there a representative from, please come forward. Give us a little rundown on what you do, what type of food you sell, and
Hello, my name is Alp and I am the one of the owner partner of the Yagi food truck, Yappa LLC. So we had a restaurant in downtown Newport. It's like Yagi noodles. So we are like the food truck
okay.
of that one. And we are making like bao buns, noodles, dumplings, that type of food.
Okay.
So we've been in the business like 1.5 years. And
Nice.
this is like first time we are applying for the warrant.
Okay. Any
I've been
questions?
to your restaurant. It's excellent.
Thank you.
We have a few vacancies here in the town of Warren. If you are interested in bringing your style of food here, that would be wonderful. But
Thank you.
until then, I approve.
Thank you.
Good luck. Motion to approve.
Thank you.
Second,
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Good luck to you. Okay, next is P5. This is another MFE permit, and this is from Antojitos Mexicanos, Cigar World East. Representatives, please come down.
Thought you was
President, members of the council, how are you?
All right, just give us a quick rundown on what you're looking to do here.
Sure. So, we obviously have had Cigar World in the town now for several years. It's been okay. We're doing all right, but we can't seem to get the same type of vibe for the food that we get in our other locations in North Providence and Cranston and East Providence. This town has its own vibe. So we were trying to figure out what our options are. We do have a full kitchen. We have 3 bay sinks, we have hand sinks, we have mop sinks, we have salad sinks. And then the bar itself has 3 bay sinks and has hand sinks. In the back of the facility, we also have a salad prep area. We also have refrigeration and a freezer. And we have an auto fryer, which is successful in all our bars, but in Warren, it doesn't seem to work. There's just a lot of options for a small community. So we're trying to figure out a way that we can get more business into our bar. So we spoke with the Department of Health. We happen to own a food truck, believe it or not. It's been sitting in the town of Warren in my yard for a couple of years. And we use it for events. So we bring that truck out and we put a wood fire pizza oven on it, or we put a smoker on it. I have a Myron Dixon rotisserie smoker, and we bring in chefs and we pay them to cook in the truck and serve anywhere between 50 and 500 people, depending on how big the events are. So we wanted to put the truck next to our bar in Warren because it's an extension of our kitchen. We just want to be able to use that to serve the patrons. I mean, honestly, if I'm going to step up the level, I don't really want to be cooking inside with the smoking, because obviously if you have 15 or 20 people in there smoking cigars, you know, it's smoky.
And we don't want that getting into the food. And that's always been a concern of ours. Our other establishments like Mr. Cigar in North Providence, the building bumps out. So our kitchen is off to the side. So it's basically just like we have a food truck. So it has its own ventilation. With this building, we're just in a rectangle. The kitchen would have to be in the back and it would just pull all the smoke and everything through the kitchen area. So it's really, it can be done. The Department of Health would approve it, but honestly, I don't think it's the right thing to do. So we really want to use this truck to handle the cooking so we can serve our patrons that come in. And I'm sure you're aware, we thought we were okay to do it as an extension of our kitchen. We had it there. We got a notice of the violation from the building inspector. Immediately, I shut down the same day. I said, okay, I didn't know. Came right into the town clerk's office and got on the phone with everybody. And everyone was like, nobody really knows where it fell. Like I couldn't get a straight answer. Like the answer I got from the town was it needs to be a mobile food truck equipment. The description I got from the Department of Health, and I brought that into the town clerk's office that said I could use it for prepping food. And then they came back and did a second inspection a week later because they wanted another hand sink put in the bar, which it was already there, but it was just disconnected. So we just set it back into place. We did that. And then they said that we would have to go get an inspection before we could open up food truck. So now I'm just got to figure out what it is. Because for me, it's not a food truck. For me, it's a extension of my business. It's just, we're going to be handling the cooking outside and the serving inside. There's going to be menus in the restaurant. And that's what's going to help make it more successcul.
I have
Okay.
a question.
Actually, before any.
Well, it's for Anthony.
Anthony, before Anthony?
Well, no, it's for Anthony.
All right, I was
Sure.
gonna say the solicitor has been looking into this.
Mhm.
Because it's a smoker and a cigar bar, I'm gonna defer to the solicitor because it could get a little smoky.
But first,
I beat you to it, Tony. I know you were saving that one.
if I could, I just want to
Yeah.
ask him because I believe our mobile license has to be mobile. Like you would have to actually move it. It can't be in a permanent spot, can it?
Technically, it can, so long as it can be moved. Now, I
All right.
understand, this is kind of a trailer.
It is a trailer, yes.
And it can be moved. You can move it to another site.
I
So long as
can,
you truck it there.
yes.
That actually hits the definition of an MFE. And I understand the Department of Health has said that this particular setup would get the state license to the MFE. If I can just say though, under section 11-373, there is the location of the MFEs are limited to those districts where restaurants are allowed. That hits the requirement here. And in no event can be located closer than 250 feet to a permanent restaurant with a legally issued victualling license issued by and located in the town. So if you grant this MFE license, you would need to give them a waiver of that 250-foot requirement, but limit them to serving just patrons of their establishment and no one else just walking up.
So you could do that even though they 6 inches away from a restaurant?
Correct, yes.
So you'd have to monitor the people coming and like,
Well, I guess they would all be sitting inside,
You
right?
know, based on what's gonna happen later on in the agenda, you'll get complaints if that's not, like, I mean, the question for these things always is, how's the town gonna police this?
correct.
To me, enforcement springs from complaints. And in this circumstance, I think if it's not intended for the way that you've limited it, that you will get not you, but the town will get phone calls as to what's going on.
Well, there'll be no window service, right?
We can or we cannot. It doesn't really matter. Whatever the town.
I believe the only way you
Yeah,
can
the
satisfy
limit, no
the
windows.
requirement would be,
Yeah,
you're basically putting an outdoor kitchen. is
Exactly.
What we're allowing you to
Yep.
do,
yep.
but it is a bit of a highway
Yeah,
because it's
the
mobile.
requirement for that 250 feet is we don't want you pulling business out of an existing establishment. That's why the MFEs were limited to that. So if we do limit it to your patrons only, it would mean no window service.
So I think, if I may, the way I would condition this, the way I think would be supportive is conditional on the MFE, the 250 unique to that establishment only. So you couldn't move it and be 250 feet. Unique to that establishment only,
Mhm.
number one. Conditional to your hours of operation.
Yep.
So it wouldn't conflict because there's a breakfast place.
Yep.
Okay, wouldn't conflict with the breakfast place. And conditional where there is no walk-up service, your patrons only would be the recipients of the patrons.
Right, inside my
Okay.
customers.
Yes, your
Yeah, let me
customers
sit
only.
there.
There's no takeout,
No.
there's
Not what
no,
we're looking
no.
Where
If
are
somebody's
you-
leaving with a doggy bag, that's a different
Or
story.
if
but like,
somebody
yeah.
orders in the bar, they're having a drink and they want to take something home.
Yeah, that's-
obviously,
that's-
'cause they do that.
but
with-
Where are you gonna locate?
Okay, so that's, that was
This
a,
would take up a lot of space.
Well, he had
Yeah.
it on the side of his building.
we had it on the side of the building.
Yeah.
I've also been in touch with the local fire chief. This is not a half-ass trailer. This is a legit food equipment.
And Mr. Davis, if you'd let me just finish one of my other conditions obviously would be that it needs to be compliant with the fire code,
Mhm.
it needs to be compliant with the building code. All the conditions would be from the state regulation all the way down to the local regulation. And then I think that would be fine. So I think the fire chief has some input that he wants
So
to.
this is a lot to think about though.
Yeah.
In regards to, they share a lot. And I'm trying to, usually my position is to somewhat go towards the brick and mortar because of the level of taxes. This is a very unique situation that you have a brick and mortar
Right.
already. So there's some interesting,
I'm sure that I don't know, the gentleman that does the tax thing, he'll hit me for the $20,000 because it'll be part of the equipment of the business. So it'll raise my taxes in the town.
well,
$20,000.
yes and no, it's an interesting, if you look at it, you're looking at how to bring in business for yourself,
Right.
which is great. And then, your neighbor may be saying this is, detracting from our business. So it's a very,
Well, so
difficult,
my
I
neighbors,
think.
I'm sorry, sir.
No,
My
go ahead.
neighbors open from 7 AM to 2. He's restricted to 2 PM.
All right.
So I don't plan on being open until 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
That's
9,
helpful.
10.
I mean,
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's
I
good
get-
information. that you
Yeah,
have.
I get a group of guys every morning. If you go there at 10 o'clock in the morning, like literally there's probably 8 or 10 guys that are sitting there smoking cigars for 2 hours. Even if that truck was open, nobody was gonna use it. So we're okay with opening it after he closes, because he closes at 2
If
o'clock.
you were to do that, you would make me feel better about it.
Absolutely.
Because I really was almost ready to not act on this tonight
I appreciate it. No,
and solicit, because I do think that well, that's what we've heard. So
Yeah.
when we first brought in way back 15 years ago, a mobile truck, there was a lot of resistance. And
Yeah.
it was a guy that just had a cart. And then there was one other one, and that guy was hardworking. So it's not to say that these people aren't hardworking, but there was this level of immediate resistance, and that's why our ordinance said you can't, hold shop next to 250 feet. So you gotta give them that. So I do appreciate if you voluntarily will agree
yeah,
to say that you will let them operate when they operate and you fill in that open space. That makes me feel a lot better.
Yeah, we
that
have-
we're not infringing on them.
we have no issue with that. They close at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and we don't want unit's not going to be successful from 10 o'clock in the morning until, 5, 6 o'clock at
So as
night.
part of the approval, we could limit the hours. so-
Right,
Yeah,
so at
and
2,
that's what I was
after
saying.
they close at 2 o'clock,
Yeah.
we want to be ready to open at 4 because, obviously you got to cook and prep food. So it's going to be open and then we'll go to a certain time
You
at
can
night.
prep, whatever you want. That I
Right.
don't mind.
But I just don't want people in there and they start smelling it. Like, well, I mean, depends on which way the wind's blowing. We're smelling Luke's or we're smelling McDonald's. So you never know what smell you're gonna get.
What
Any
else?
other questions from the council?
Well, we
No?
didn't answer the location. Where are you gonna put it?
So I'm in discussions with the fire
I think
chief
wherever the fire
and I'm
chief
sure he'll give you some information on it. Right now, it's next to the side of the building. What I did find out is it may be too close. It is too close to the building as of right now. I did speak with the local, with the fire chief, and then I spoke with the state. I can apply for a variance, which I will have to do if I want to leave it there. But I've got to get the fire marshal on board, the building inspector on board. I might have to do some
So this is gonna be contingent on their approval.
on their
This is a
approval,
working
right,
process.
if, for that to be the ultimate spot. And again, I don't want to put it way out in the parking lot because what's going to happen is people are going to see it and try to come up to it. And the point of this thing is to get them in to my bar, to get a cigar, to get a drink, to get some food.
Right, and you'd
It's-
be restricting parking as well.
Right. And we do have, there's 29 parking spots and
Mm-hmm.
then there's, 7 in the back that the employees.
Didn't realize that.
Yeah, we have a lot of parking. And by the way, after 2:00, you have the nail salon and I don't know if they applied yet, but it's gonna be a dog groomer. So we don't have a parking issue. Sunday mornings with the breakfast people, they're pretty good. They're busy. But other than that,
Would the Chief Souza, do you have anything you want to add to this?
No, just, he's correct, we have had some, conversation on it, and there are some requirements that we'll have to work through.
Okay. All right. Any other questions from the council?
It's a public hearing, so just.
No, it's just a petition. I am going to ask if the public wants to talk, but this isn't really. Is there anyone else that would like to speak on this matter here? Okay,
Novel approach. I'll make a motion to approve contingent on all of the building and safety issues.
As well as the issuance of the state MFD.
As well as the,
license.
and wait. Am I including in my motion there's a
250 foot
different motion
variance.
for the
I
variance?
think you can do it in all one motion.
And I'll include the variance of the 250 so that your hours don't conflict. I mean, and based upon, so how do we word that? Because I want it to be in there.
List the hours.
you need a couple, we need to hit patrons only. We need to put the time frame after 2 p.m.
I think we have to make 2 motions. So I make a motion that we approve contingent on all of your safety and fire and zoning issues.
And
Number
as
one,
well as the issuance of the state license.
the state.
Second,
Okay, is that the right way to do it? Do the rest in a second
that covers
motion?
half, and we gotta go to the other half.
Maybe
Well, you know,
have to do
yeah.
the second motion.
So vote on this.
Okay, all in favor of that first motion?
Aye.
Okay, now the second
I
motion.
make a second motion, which is the variance of the 250-foot requirement. So you're getting relief from that. And I would make it that your hours you're not open to operate when your neighbor is. So how do we word that? How does,
That it's the food is only to be sold to patrons of the establishment
Correct.
and the hours of operation are hours of,
Contrary
hours of,
to the
hours of serving are not till after 2 p.m. I don't want
Yes.
to say hours of operation because I want him to get in there and be able to start cooking at noon,
Yeah.
but he can't start serving the food till after 2 p.m.
No service to patrons until after 2 p.m. And is there a deadline at night?
well, the other restaurant's
Yeah.
not open, so
I don't have
I
an
wish
issue
them all
with
the
that,
luck in the world there.
and the MFE license is stuck at that spot. That's what Mr. Callender asked for.
Yes.
That's what he wants to do.
So
Yeah.
He can't.
It's
Yeah,
restricted.
and
The
yeah,
250 is
the
only
MFE
there for
license, he
that
can't,
spot.
if he wants to go to another spot, he'll have to come.
You're restricted to that address.
Correct, yep.
All right, there's your motion.
All right, we
Did
got.
you get that,
Did you
Jess?
get that, Jess? Okay,
Second,
we have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Thank you.
Good luck.
All in favor? Aye. All right, good luck.
Thank you very much. I
You're welcome.
appreciate it.
So it's actually not, man. It's not more. Okay.
It's true.
Look at.
No, it's true, because we allowed.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have
Yeah.
P6.
Maybe
This
they'll
is a
put some
request
fucking-
for a yearly outside entertainment license. This is from Spindrift Hospitality, DBA Chomp. How we doing?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Not bad at all. Give us a rundown on what you're looking to do here.
So we're looking to sort of piggyback off the success that we had at the Warren Walkabout Sundays throughout the fall, as well as sort of, that was kind of a proof of concept for us originally. We came before you in December for an indoor entertainment license. Been doing music there, mostly from 5 to 8 on Sunday nights, mostly acoustic, again, playing inside. It doesn't really, it's not rock and roll like I think we talked about last time we were here, so we're holding true to that. But we really have seen a lot of interest in that, in the town, for something that is not necessarily what else is offered at some other venues like Galactic and like Uptown now. So what we hope to do here is, again, getting ready for the summer or spring, summer, is bring that entertainment outside so we can capitalize on the space we have out there, so people can enjoy the time of the year and be outside. It has been one thing that we've been fielding a lot of requests from since we did get the indoor license is if we are going to do it outside.
Okay.
So we started working on that and now we're here before you tonight.
Okay, questions from the council?
Well, you must be aware that there is not unanimous support for this.
Doesn't shock me, no.
And I have to say, I personally am concerned about the idea of outdoor entertainment in that space, given the proximity to so many other businesses and homes. It has worked to an extent after some real tweaking and back and forth and investment finally at both Blount Clam Shack and then ultimately at the Wharf. There was a lot of pushback and there were a lot of issues with noise complaints and whatnot. It has not escaped me that the conversation that we had prior to the walkabout, when I said noise ordinance, don't be loud, keep it at a low level so it doesn't, get out. And it was loud. I could almost hear it from outside of my shop.
Okay.
And there was some, definitely, there were people who were like, wow, that's a lot. For the walkabout, it's a party, it's a big event, a lot of people come into town. So it's appropriate then. It would not be appropriate at that decibel level and for that type of, energy on a regular all summer long, in my opinion. I think it's just too much in that already congested space. I think we've got issues with parking and with just, how people are existing and enjoying that part of the town already. So I think this would, if this moves forward, it would have to be done in a very, very controlled and monitored way, so it didn't spill out and impact other residents and other businesses negatively.
Okay.
We all received a letter from the person that's opposing this. And there was mention that at the zoning board hearing, or it was mentioned you guys were gonna try to share a valet, and I guess you tried it and that didn't work out. You just let us know what happened with that. Was it not?
The valet parking?
Was the valet parking not economically feasible, or there just wasn't enough of a demand?
The operation, the company that our neighbor chose, we weren't satisfied with the operation. It was pretty much consistently understaffed.
Okay.
So what we would have happen is on a busy Sunday, there would be one valet person, and almost more times than not, the valet line for people to get in their car. This guy would go park the car, they'd have to wait. We would have people driving around, creating more of a parking congestion problem than actually trying to solve the problem. We tried to work together on it, and for $500 a month, it just wasn't worth the aggravation or trying to go through that. And I know parking down there has been, it's consumed my life for the last 2 years to 3 years.
How do you think it's consumed us?
Probably equally, well,
For
I don't know,
15 years.
how old is the town?
You know,
17 something?
So Sam, for 15 years, I've been sitting in this basically same seat,
Yeah.
the zoning for council.
Yeah.
And that has been a topic of conversation, not to interrupt you. or anything.
Mhm.
And I'm racking in my brain over here,
Yeah,
trying
I wanna
to
give
figure
you
out
this.
how to make this work, because and Kerry and I will agree and disagree on different subject matters, but I have to agree with her on this one about the music and the noise, because I can already foresee neighbors blowing my phone up because they blew our phones up for 6 concerts or 8 concerts at Burrs Hill. I'm
We
guessing.
wouldn't be that loud.
Well, that's not the issue. No, you're not that loud, but you're that much closer to the folks that are in the downtown. They're in Ground Zero. Entertainment license, educate me. Is this Friday, Saturday, Sunday? Is this every night? What's your?
No, it would be mostly on the weekends. As far as time goes, right now, to give you some. Let me back up for a second here. That property is a very polarizing property in town, and it should come as no surprise that I realize bringing this before you guys, I know is not something that's just like, okay, you stamp it and you approve it. I get that. I think that we've been good stewards of the property. I think we've done a great job renovating it. I think that we've said everything that we've said in these meetings, zoning, planning, historic, whatever it is, we've held true to those. When we got approved for our indoor entertainment license, I don't think to date there's been any sound complaints or calls. So we've stated good on that. So I'm just as much a neighbor. I'm a citizen of the community as you all are. So I have just as much a vested interest in making sure that my neighbors are happy living where they are and the businesses around me succeeding and feeling like they can independently be successful. I don't want to step on toes. I'm not trying to be a bull in a china shop by any means. What the genesis of this application and this conversation before you tonight is, it's something that our guests are asking for. And as it's a good business decision, but I also think it's one that builds the community even more, because when we have these indoor concerts, there is a lot of conversation about how the type of music, and we have 4 different acoustic people that is rotating through every Sunday. So it's not like we're pulling people from, Boston or, these huge acts. It's local artists that are looking to develop a name for themselves, make a little bit of money, and be part of the community as well. And it's been very well received. I can't, there is obviously some times where people are sitting too close to a speaker and they don't want to sit there. So we move them, that stuff obviously occurs. The sound or sort of the projection of sound that you brought up, Carrie, it is valid. And it's something that we've thought about, and we've been testing since we put the application in, as far as the direction in which we would project that sound. And we found that the west or the eastern side of our property, which abuts Wedge, projecting it basically in the corner towards our building, so that it's not projecting towards Water Street, more towards the residents. It significantly lessens the decibel level that you would get from behind, because we're projecting it the other way. Now you could say it might go all the way over to Barrington between Cafe, Water Street, and our building. It dampens it a significant amount. If you go out to the front of our property, stand down in the parking lot, you can't hear it. And we've tested it pretty thoroughly and pretty loudly. Different times of the day, different wind conditions, raining, cloudy, sunny. We've done all that to prepare for tonight, so that we have a justifiable reason for doing it, and not just saying, oh, we might set them up there, we might set them up here. We have strategic spots that we can put them, depending on, whether if it's a one-person acoustic guy, it's obviously gonna be less than if it's, Keats and Company or Los Duderinos, who do have a few more people on their or in their band. So we have thought of those things.
All right, I do want to ask
So you're not looking at just acoustic.
No,
okay, I wanted to ask the chief, he referenced that there were no complaints. Chief, has there been any noise complaints at this establishment?
We have received some noise complaints, ending from truck idling. We do have one complaint specifically for the band. It was on November 24th, 2023, 5:38. The band was playing outside. Got a complaint. We did do a decibel reading, which was 71, and which is below our 75.
Okay.
The other complaint is a delivery truck idling, people talking in the parking lot.
All right, so there was only,
Equipment running.
really only one music complaint, and it was under the required letters. Okay. Is there anyone else, any other questions from the council? I am gonna let the people from the public come up and speak on this if they wish to, but I want to make sure the
Yeah, I
council's
did-
done first.
Mr. Glenn, you mentioned that mostly acoustic. Yeah, I think when you first came up, you said mostly acoustic.
Inside right now, it is acoustic, because if we were to put a full band in our restaurant, it would not
No,
work out.
So this is, outside will be amplified music, period, right? I mean, you're not doing acoustic outside.
I guess I should, but like an acoustic, like guitar in one person with a speaker.
Acoustic meaning no amplification, that's what.
Okay, no, this will,
Yeah,
we would
but
like
not-
a traditional,
It's not
band
acoustic
setup.
then. Okay.
I'm sorry?
It's not acoustic, it's amplified music, because I've been there, by there, and so
Yeah.
mostly what I've seen and heard is amplified music.
Okay, yeah,
And-
I'm sorry, I'm
and,
using
No,
the terminology
no,
wrong.
No, not to get, it's semantics, but
Mhm.
no,
No,
it's
it's legitimate.
It's a big difference when someone's playing acoustically and not
For sure.
amplifying the music. And, I know they went through this, as Carrie mentioned, at the wharf, you know,
Mhm.
they had a zoning board hearing down there to do decibel readings and they had jumped through hoops and they worked it out.
Mhm.
So you know, I'm concerned as Kerry is and Steve is, and I think Joe is.
I think we,
And
Yeah.
all of us are concerned about impact on, you know, the neighborhood and your neighbors and other people trying to do business.
Mhm.
And if that affects them negatively in an economic standpoint,
Mhm.
if their patrons are being really abused by the music, that's a problem. And I have it, I'm concerned about that.
I don't disagree with that. And if it makes you feel any better, I'm not wearing my watch today, but every Apple Watch has decibel reader on it. And we've walked around when we're doing acoustic music, whether it's the walkabout or indoor and testing that. And it does fall, even if you go outside, it does fall below that range. I forget
So
how
it's
they,
not the decibel issue, that's not the
Right,
issue.
so it's
It's
the-
the music's going to travel
Mhm.
into the other neighborhoods.
Mhm.
Let me get right down to it. So you put on your application 2 to 4 piece bands, solo artists, and a DJ. You must have somebody in mind who you're thinking of. They've either approached you.
Yeah, no,
look-
yeah.
Yeah, so who is it? Let's-
So Keats and Company
Okay.
is one of them. They play at Thames in Los Dudorinos.
Yep.
There's another one from Newport. They play at Galactic.
Sure,
Both very respectable bands. Both
Yep. okay,
we both know them very well. Those are the biggest, you know, in terms of
yeah, understood.
quantity or
Which DJ have you thought?
we've done and DJ. I had to learn this. So it's not DJ in the sense that you would think of a DJ. It's we've used the gentleman from Uptown who spins vinyl.
Yes,
Basically like Hall & Oates and
Yeah.
you know, easy listening music, but it is played by somebody on turntables. So it is technically a DJ. We're not going to be out there playing house music and things of that nature.
and so, and I appreciate, you know, you being candid with us and open and upfront. But these are the things that we have to concern with because that music is going to travel out
Mhm.
into the neighborhoods. And I can tell you 100% that when the Brisbane Park concerts were going on, I was walking Water Street to see how far I could go before I couldn't hear it and
Mhm.
how close I was when I did hear it. And this is why I got into this. I have no problem with people calling and blowing my phone up.
Mhm.
But I have to be able to give them the answer, and I have to be able to give them the answer, why? Why did we allow this? Why did you do this?
Mhm.
So, having these conversations at this level will give me the opportunity to explain myself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or to explain to you that, hey, we just can't allow that,
Mhm.
you know, this is why.
Mhm.
So, all right, thank you.
Councilman
Sam, always, we usually have information from surrounding, establishments or
Mhm.
residences. You realize in this case, your neighbor has actually opposed, and we're gonna hear from him. So you're in a very difficult position because it's not even like you're coming out with, people who aren't speaking out against.
Mhm.
So it's gonna be very difficult for you to make it so that his restaurant isn't impacted. They don't have to like your music. They
Mhm.
don't have to even like hearing your music. When you look at the way that the whole complaints situation is,
Mhm.
somebody decides to complain, it has to get checked out. Just so you know, this is like, one of those, be careful what you ask for.
Yeah, no, I mean, it doesn't surprise
Because-
me that he's in opposition of it by any means. You know, I think for as many, I'll say this, for as many complaints that are filed, I think that it's also important to consider the people that did enjoy it and the people that are there to enjoy it as well.
Which is,
I think that's something you have to weigh.
It's somewhat, helpful, but the patrons are there because they want it.
Mhm.
A patron is sitting there because they don't have a headache.
Right.
They're sitting there having a beer because they want to do that.
Mhm.
When you have someone who doesn't want to hear it,
Mhm.
it gets very difficult
Mhm.
because it starts to fall on this legality issue of the decibels.
Mhm.
And I was up here kind of really trying to work with the Burris Hill people. Sure, I've grown up hearing the music all over town,
Mhm.
but I can't ignore someone who says, I don't go there because I choose not to go there and hear it. I've been to my friend's house and they border the park.
Mhm.
And if you're on Hale Street on the day of a concert, you're hearing the concert.
Mhm.
And then as you go further into town, you can hear it at your place.
Yeah.
It may not bother you, but it's like one of those things where someone's legitimacy of the complaint
Mhm.
doesn't become less because they're in their own home.
No, I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
So
absolutely.
you're in a spot, and when we spoke about this,
Mhm.
the one thing I talked about was trying to figure out with a sound engineer or Mr. Kalenda, what was the name of the technical term? Is it a sound engineer?
Sound engineer, yeah, that Blount used.
So, you know, these kind of issues they're not frivolous. They exist. People make their living based on them.
Mhm.
So you're in a hot spot, so to speak.
I'm used to those spots.
Well,
All right.
So wait,
I just wanted you to know
Yeah.
that.
Anything else from the council before I?
we may have a solution though.
And Anthony, I actually have a question. I'm gonna have anybody from the public comment that wants to speak on this. I have a question for the solicitor before that happens. This is for a yearly entertainment license. Could we issue it, say, for 3 months
Yes,
and then require renewal at 3 months? I'm just trying to think, because you want to get into the warm weather, because
Come back for review.
because you're not
Yeah.
gonna have, you're not gonna have, on the cold weather. So if we're in March, April, May, June. So if we do consider doing it, and if we did it till the end of June, that'll give us an idea of what's happening right before the main summer starts, but it'll be warm enough where they'll actually be able to have the outside music, and we'll be able to judge from there.
you're essentially issuing a probationary license.
Okay, all right. That being said, if you want to have a seat, anyone would like to come forward? and
Sam,
speak on this?
would you be willing to?
Yeah, I mean, we, just like every other planning, zoning, historic meeting we've gone to, I'm here to work with you guys and
Yeah.
here to work with members of the
And
community as
we're
well.
trying to work, we need to take everything into consideration too,
100%,
how this.
yeah.
Should we, one night, instead, like on the weekend, Friday, Saturday, or?
Well, I
Or
think,
I
just
think we
let
should
him-
listen to the public.
yeah, I think we
first.
should get the, I was just
All right.
getting clarification on what we could and
In
couldn't.
in all reality, I wouldn't, risk of wanting to put my foot in my mouth. We would not do this multiple nights in a row. Because
You want to leave your options open.
we want to leave our options open. I
Yeah.
don't want to commit one way or another right now on March 12th to say that we're only going to do it once. If there's an event or what may happen, I don't want to fall out of favor with the town because of that. But we also we're a restaurant, and when we are open or when we have entertainment, potentially we're losing seats. So it's not good business for us to be doing this every single night. So that's something that we're also privy to and happy to talk to you guys about as well.
All right, have a seat. Anyone who would like to come up and speak on this, please come forward. One at a time. When you come up, state your name and your address.
Also go yet, Trafford Restaurant. First, I heard about the ballet and why it was canceled, and he never heard that before. Excuse me. As far as music, first I heard about it was this meeting, and we had this meeting. He never came to me with that. Never discussed with me what he's gonna do, how he's gonna do it, how it might affect my business. I gave you a letter. I explained a lot of things in the letter, what's going on, that is happening. I don't believe this music is gonna help my business at all. It's gonna hurt it. There's no way around it. It's gonna bring a lot more traffic, a lot more people within the place, because it's now music. Now it's more drinking and music versus food. There's a problem. It's gonna be a problem for me. I thought I explained it pretty well in my letter. That's how I feel.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anyone else, please?
Hi, Jenny Flanagan, 46 Washington Street. My house there are 4 houses between my house and Chomp. I love the music when I hear it, but I can hear it quite clearly from my front porch, from my kitchen, and from my bedroom, being probably about 750 feet away. You can hear the lyrics. I know what song it is. I can sing along. So just to be clear, even at 75 decibels or 71 or whatever, it's clearly heard 4 houses away, and obviously everyone closer hears it quite clearly as well.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, back to the council. Any more questions or comments?
Well,
Can I make one comment just about?
You can come back up.
Sure.
Yeah,
come on
yeah,
back up.
yeah. The public hearing is still open. Yeah,
Public input.
but yeah,
Um,
sorry, public input. I apologize.
It dawned on me on that November 22nd, I believe was the date. Was that I think that was the tree lighting night potentially. The orientation of our band on that particular night was projecting to Water Street versus every other time where it's been facing towards the restaurant. So that might be why it was, okay.
All right, okay.
I think you're in a tough spot
Kerry
for,
was,
drums,
Kerry was
honestly.
before you, Joe.
It's okay.
Well, no.
You finish.
I think you're in it could be a tough spot. I think you really need to pick. Honestly, if you're gonna do this and try to do it with as much compassion towards your neighbors as possible,
Mhm.
I don't think every band is gonna fit there.
Okay.
I just know that, Sam, if we get complaints,
Mhm.
whether you agree with them or not, whether they're decibel readings or not. There was a person living across from, what's the name of the piece? It was where, Richardson's is now. I mean, we had 1,000 registered complaints. It turned into, it was a legal issue. Ultimately, the owner left. Because we knew that there were people against each other.
Mhm.
But the sad reality is when the police would show up, there were people smoking outside. There was loud talking. There was somebody urinating. I'm not saying that that proprietor was condoning that.
Mhm.
I'm saying is when a call is made, it can become a real issue. And like we're going into the second season of the band shell, where we didn't have many complaints last year
Mm.
because we really tried to make a difference. But it wasn't like we ignored it.
Mhm.
And that's at the park. And honestly, I live, where I live, you can hear it. And Sunday afternoon, I kind of feel like, me, unfortunately, I have to accept motorcycle trailers. That's just how it is, right?
Mm.
But there are people who say, the town is supporting this. So the sad thing I'm saying is, I have no problem giving you an opportunity,
Mhm.
but I will say, you get 10 complaints, if you get 20 complaints, if every one of your neighbors just start saying, you know what, this is too much, that's a representative government. When you're hearing that, we have to look at the balancing of the mixed use area because people are moving in knowing it's a mixed use. But in the same sense, it doesn't mean that what they accept conditionally in those mixed use areas go into where they feel tortured.
Mm.
And that's why you get the idling, trucks can idle. We can put in an ordinance. If the officer gets there while it's running for 15 minutes, all of this stuff starts turning into a legal issue is what I'm telling you. It's not just the trying to follow the law. It's literally being legally bound by people complaining.
Mhm.
And, the majority of people may not even live in Warren. So you get 100 people who say it was great. You get 40 people around, you say, yeah, Sunday for us sucked.
Mhm.
Just letting you know, I'll give you a trial. But I will restrict that you can't have a full band. I don't think you can. I think, well, you can do your trial. I'll leave it up to you.
Councilwoman Cronin.
But I'm not gonna ignore the neighbors, is all I'm saying, when that reality comes.
Okay, Joe.
No, yeah.
Let Kerry have a
I
chance.
just want him to.
What he said.
It's difficult.
You have built a really successful business and that is great. You know what you're doing down there. You're making good burgers. You're packing that place on a nightly basis. And I'm sure you feel somewhat on a hamster wheel, like you need to keep growing it and making it better and keep people coming back. And I respect that. And I get what you're trying to do. But you are also doing business in a very densely settled area where there are other businesses. Now, I'm not looking for a kumbaya moment here,
Mhm.
but there is definitely some tension between you and your neighbor. And that needs to be worked out because this is just going to blow up because of that tension. And we may not get a realistic response because there's too much anger going into it. So you guys are going to need to figure out whether it's in a sit down sort of situation where you agree on being better and more respectful and responsible and open to feedback kind of neighbors, because neither of you are moving. You're, there is never going to be more space between these two businesses. So figure out a way to work together. I agree. I'm okay to give you a sort of provisionary, what's the provisional?
Probationary.
A probationary opportunity to see how it works. But you better be open, ready, willing, and available to hear the feedback and to work with your neighbors. Because that's the only way this is gonna work, because we don't want to be the bad guys here. We want you to be successful. We want every business in town to be successful. And to bring something special and unique that keeps people coming back. My business benefits from it. It's just, we have a symbiotic thing going on here. So just be open to the fact that you're probably gonna have to actually get some eye contact with your neighbor and have an adult civil sort of exchange and figure some things out.
And because
Councilman Hecker.
I'm not gonna keep beating a dead horse here, but I
Right.
think, you know, the potential impact that you have is a serious concern. It really is. And so if we give you a probationary period, I think it's a little long. I'd like to see a little less than what was proposed on June 5th to June. Yeah, I'd like to see that tightened up a little bit because I think it's long enough. But I think if we went into, you know, May or middle of, not 3 months, maybe 2.5 months, but.
I was thinking 3s because I'm thinking, because it's gotta be the warm weather. I mean, you're
Well,
not.
do you want to bring them back in June or do you want to bring them back in July? You know, that's the
Back in
council.
June,
June.
Okay.
June.
So the
because
June council meeting?
That's enough. And I just, you know, it's really challenging, because it's not just decibels, it's wind direction, which is the biggest part of it, depending on which way the wind's blowing. And, so,
As many of those variables that we can control, we will control.
what I was gonna add was.
well, the variable you can control is
Okay, well,
is
I'm gonna go to
the
Steve and
amount,
give you the last
the
word.
size of the band, the amount of the amplification. Those things can be actually controlled.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that you're aware of, obviously, and will hopefully take into consideration.
Okay, Councilman Kalenda.
Just following up, I think you've heard where we're at, the temperature. Nobody's saying no, but we're really definitely saying this is where you should be going. Number one. Number two, the way this has grown between you relocating the business down there is exemplary and you should be commended and you do a great job. And what I love about the fact is your face is seen in this town just like all of us because you live here. So going out in public and being able to say, hey, yeah, I'm doing the best I can to make this available for everybody is why I'm here. You're not coming in and leaving because you live somewhere else. So I support that. I just don't know what's gonna happen when you come back and see us in June.
Might be a few more people in the back.
Yeah, we'll see. Like, sometimes the answer is no, but we are trying to work this out between everybody. And it would be nice that if every business down there was able to see some common ground, that would be very helpful. Because,
I would welcome that.
yeah, okay, great. My phone is always on.
So you know where to find me too.
Okay, I do know where to find you.
The key words here I want you to grab is enhance.
Enhance.
You openly said you want to enhance your business. So in the same sense, I'm not falling deaf on Russ's other concerns. That's not what's here tonight. I don't believe my position is that this is going to be more traffic and more this month. I'm not going there yet because I don't know. Because we sit in front of a lot of people with study information. It's 1.2 cars, or it's going to be, if you're in favor, it's 1.2 cars. If you're against this driveway, it's 7.8 cars. So I don't know what's going to happen. The parking down here is a nightmare. Remember, the key to this is enhance your business and not detract from your neighbors.
Right.
But most importantly, I don't think you should leave here feeling tonight that it's the law. I can do this by law, by right, because it's a probation. So if you don't show yourself to actually be saying, nah, I can go 75 decibels. If somebody complains, make a change, go up to the person, look, I got a call.
Yeah.
You know,
And-
you don't want, you're established, you spend a lot of money. You don't want to be looked at as that guy that's ruining it. That's what we're gonna be looking at. At least that's what I'm gonna be looking at.
Yeah.
I walk there, I live there, you know me. So if it's to me, hey, the guy's really trying. Or, hey, you know what, he doesn't care about anybody else.
I mean, whenever we left these meetings, for various other requests before you guys, we go back, we figure out a plan and we try to execute that plan. The plan on Monday is different than the plan on Tuesday if Monday sucked or wasn't good.
You're
That's
the
how we
one
operate.
invested in there.
Yeah, that's how we've been doing it for 10 years. That's how I believe you have to run a business. So this isn't just because I don't know that much about music doesn't mean we're not going to take the same approach to it. And it doesn't mean that we're not going to take into consideration our restaurant neighbors, our residents, and, hopefully keep your phones quiet as well.
Right. Thank you
I'll
very
give you a
much.
chance.
What I do have a question. I heard somewhat of a consensus to the discussion. What is the date of the June regularly scheduled town council meeting?
The 11th.
June 11th. Okay, so what I heard was, it sounded like we wanted to get you back here for the June meeting. So if we made the license valid through June 11th, Anthony, that way it would
Correct, yeah.
expire, it would expire that night if we didn't renew it. Okay.
Correct, yes.
That being said, is there any?
May I ask one question?
Yep.
How will success or failure be determined?
I'm gonna say by complaints, by feedback, and granted, we're gonna know if some of the complaints are genuine or vindictive. We'll generally get a feel on that. I mean, if 14 residents call up and complain, that's probably not vindictive.
If I may, under
Yeah.
section 11-358, it's gonna be discretionary on the council. It's gonna be up to them to make that determination based on the data that they have.
Okay. Is there a framework that has worked in the past, or is it fully at the discretion?
Well, I like to say that they go on their gut feeling, and that's because I have a big gut, and usually I go with that feeling. But this is the determination that they make, like so many other boards that are public boards.
Mhm.
They use their sound discretion. They use their common sense.
Mhm.
That's what they do.
Okay.
In other words, it's not a report card that you fill out. What we fill out for you, it's based on all the input.
Yeah.
And
All right.
it has to do with attitude as well.
Yeah.
Like I said, that's what I meant by, and I don't know really how to phrase it, but like next door, I like them. It took them a while to realize that it's not just by law. We can do this by law.
Mhm.
Because I would talk with them every once in a while. It'd be a rainy day. They'd have music outside.
Yeah.
The people inside forgot to switch the speakers.
Mhm.
And the people down there are like, it's a rainy day and I still gotta listen to
Yeah.
music outside. So and they,
No, And I'm sure June 11th isn't gonna be the only time that we talk between now and then. either.
No.
So It's,
All right.
I'll probably come and listen to it.
All right, I think we're at the
Maybe.
with the point now where we need a motion on this.
Russ he had his hand up
Hey,
again.
Russ, you had plenty of time to talk. You'll have more time to talk at the June meeting. He's the applicant. All right, come on up. I mean, it's just, we've been on this for a long time. Please come forward.
So my question is, first, he has a probationary period. He behaves with probationary period. It's over. He's got his license.
License is a discretionary. We can pull you back
Yeah,
anytime.
at any time we can have a show
Yeah,
cause.
we can
here.
have a show cause hearing at any time.
That's my first. Okay, my second one is, will parking be addressed somewhere, somehow?
At this point in time, it was addressed by the zoning boards at the time of the application. We do not have the authority to overrule a zoning board decision based on parking. What we can do is, and we are always working to solve the parking issues in Warren.
Yep.
We always have a parking study going on. We have another one coming up now. I'm gonna make a suggestion.
Yep.
Maybe, and Councilman Calendar and I talked about this a little bit before the meeting. Maybe the business owners can come to an agreement or a collaboration. And between certain hours on the busy nights, hire a shuttle. You could either use Burrisville parking lot, you could use the park and ride. Say between the hours of 6 and 10.
There's a lot of people down the park.
What's that?
There's a lot of people at the park. There's only about 18 spaces.
Well, but not at
I
8
think
o'clock
it's
at
a,
night.
it's just,
But I mean, it's
I
something,
mean,
it's some,
Something
it's,
should be done.
a
but I
solution
think
may,
it's a separate.
it may be an
Okay.
easier solution for the business owners to solve than the town council to solve. is what
Yeah,
I'm trying to say.
I think importantly, that's under the Open Meetings Act. That's a separate issue.
Well, that was just a suggestion for them to do, not
Yeah.
for, not us taking action on it.
Okay. fair
All
enough.
right?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, now I think we're at the point for a motion.
Motion to approve contingent on a probationary, June 11th expiration.
Like license to expire at the June 11th.
And I think we should set hours. I don't think you, what time do you think we should? I don't think you should be able to go until, 1 AM because we have a license.
There's no request on the
Well, I
application
believe-
for
but I
hours.
believe-
No, I was just looking to see if he was limited on himself.
Zoning, it's 12 o'clock, well, 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock, is when it's operate. At 10 o'clock, food stops.
No, but
Food
I'm
stops at
talking
10,
about.
but what about the music?
7 days a week. 12 to 11.
But for the actual music, we can put
Yeah, music could stop.
No,
at-
that's,
specific parameters.
Yeah, music could stop at 8 or 9 or 10. Yes.
All right, what's the feeling of the council? I think it would be suicide for him.
well, that's, like you said, it's attitude and opinion. Let's give him the rope, see if he hangs himself, or see if he doesn't let it get tight.
The law is what? After what hour is,
The ordinance says that you can't have entertainment past the time that you're allowed to serve food.
So it would be 10 o'clock would be the latest he could go with
so
it.
they have it.
That's what the ordinance says.
Yes,
Can you ratchet it back from there? Yes, you can.
yes.
But that's the outer limit.
Well, I'll put the ball in your court. I mean, I don't know.
So you can go
I
to
don't-
10.
I don't,
9 probably would be a better idea. But yeah, I like it when people police themselves. Because that shows me that they're trying to do something to be compliant. Instead of having us come down and hit you over the head with things.
well, I also wanted them to be aware of what.
Yeah, so you know you can go to 10.
Could be.
So the ordinance is saying he's gotta shut down the music by 10.
I think. what
That's,
do you
that's
say?
exactly right.
But what time would it be starting? So are you planning to have just evening music?
Most bands that we've spoken to, they do like a 3-hour set where they take a half an hour in the middle. So it's 2.5 hours of music. So for example, our schedule right now is 6 to 8, I believe, on Sundays, with a half-hour break. So they're playing for an hour and a half. So depending on
I think
what
8
band of the
o'clock is
band,
good. I mean, this is so difficult, Sam,
yeah.
because if you go till 9 and nobody can hear it, well, great, somehow you succeeded that.
Mhm.
I just don't see how, I mean, I'm allowing you the pass or fail. I just think it's gonna, it's really.
I think limiting it to what the ordinance requires, I mean, we'll actually get more feedback on that.
I mean, June-
Well, no, I mean, if
June's
it's
coming.
if
We're
it's a
gonna-
problem, we'll get more feedback
We will.
on the later hours and it's up to him to, the only person that could really control the feedback and the calls we get is you.
I like that.
So, I mean, I don't have a problem doing the normal ordinance hours, and let's see what, on June 11th, we're gonna see.
We're gonna see, we're gonna hear.
Well, see
I'll stay
right
with
here.
you.
And we do have the discretion to shut it down immediately if it just blows up immediately.
I'm
All
well. Yep.
So what, the motion was to approve till
Approve,
to expire on June 11th,
Yeah,
which will be the next regularly scheduled town council meeting. Okay, we have the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
all right.
Good luck.
Sam.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the time.
All right, next we are on P7, which is request for a one-day entertainment license from Saint Mary of the Bay, Susan Hoffman Rabideau.
Hi.
Hey, Sue, how are you?
I'm good. Hi, I'm here, as it states, from St. Mary of the Bay Church. I belong to a new ministry that we started called M2535. We assist refugees and immigrants. We work with the diocese to set up apartments for them, welcome them at the airport. We tutor English. different services that the refugee families need during the first 2 years that they are here in Rhode Island. And we're running a fundraiser next Saturday night, St. Patrick's Day traditional boiled dinner. And I'm here because we will be serving beer and wine, and we will be having a Celtic band for an hour. So we're here asking for a 1-day license for both the beer and wine and for the entertainment.
And you'll have a certified bartender.
Chris Drance is our
Oh, Chris,
tips
yeah.
certified bartender.
Motion to approve.
You doing the,
As long as the band's not too loud. Sorry. Sorry.
are you doing the traditional like fiddle music? Is that what you're?
Yes, the band is got the right there.
And
I'm not in the band, but
You-
yes, they have.
brought backup? I see you brought backup.
Father Bob's with me.
Yeah, you
He's
know.
also on the committee.
Yeah.
All right, so we have a motion to approve the entertainment license. Do we have a second?
Second, yes.
All in favor? Aye, okay.
Aye.
Also, P8 is also for the class one
Motion for the class.
beverage license. We have a motion for the beverage license? Second?
Second.
Aye.
Yeah.
All in favor? Aye.
You're not limited to the hour.
You're all
also.
set, yeah.
What's
If
that?
you want, you said
You
1
put the
hour.
music.
Oh,
Want it-
Well, I think after the 1 hour, they'll be taped. Irish
But I'm
music,
just saying
but-
that. Although you requested that,
You're all set.
We
you
can-
can do
We
whatever.
can
you
keep them going if everybody gets crazy.
Yeah, nuts.
All right, next we have correspondence.
Good luck, thank you.
Is there anything that any member would like to pull out, or we just want to file these?
Oh, I thought it was good that I think we're finally getting something on Market Street. Did I read that right? Notice to
Market Street,
proceed?
Schoolhouse Road,
Yeah, I think the
C12.
public would love to hear that. We're
Yep.
giving the state motion to proceed on repaving Market Street.
Want to pull it out and read it?
Sure, go ahead, John.
What was it, C12?
I believe so.
It is C12 letter from. Rhode
Okay.
Island DOT.
Grab my attention.
Please be advised that per award number 3877397, the official notice to proceed for the subject project was effective as of February 8th, 2024. And that comes from Rhode Island DOT. And this is for pavement improvements for Barrington, Warren, and East Providence. An anticipated substantial completion date is of June 27th, 2025, and this is for. Where the heck
From
is it?
Schoolhouse Road to the Mass border.
Yep, there we go.
We still have hope for my rotary yet. Now,
Okay, is there anything else anyone would like to pull out? It's just when you get notified of grants, it's all in the record if anyone wants to pull it out and read it. Next on the agenda, we have new business.
I think it'll be one.
OB.
Old business, no street.
I missed the green page. OB1. Updates regarding the various problems on Norbert Street. Who
Who's
wants
taking the
to
lead on
take
that?
this one?
Oh, man.
I didn't have a green page for OB1, that's why.
Good evening, Matt Cabral, Building and Zoning Official. The traffic committee met to address the parking issue. We're in the process of looking at some different solutions to the problem. We asked that we can continue that. We have to talk with the DOT to see if there's a possible solution on Main Street where there was no parking to bring parking back, which that would help for the parking issue. There's also a couple issues with the new development when it went before planning as to public parking.
Can I just stop you for a second? Are they thinking of parking both east and west side of Main Street?
No, so right now, there's no parking on either side.
Exactly.
So there used to be parking, if you remember, on the west side.
Right, it was a nightmare with the.
I don't think it can.
And
well,
Corlett
but
Center.
You got the crosswalk issue, number one. I mean, the state can remove that, but.
So
I
that's,
just don't know.
so that's what we're gonna address the traffic commission, DOT, and see what they have to say for a recommendation. But there's also, like I said, during the planning process, there is some public parking that was kind of put in the plans. We have to look at that as to if that is in fact still
Have they
there.
finished Norbert Street yet?
The street or?
No, the whole project. Is the
No.
project finished?
No, it's not completed.
Okay. So,
They got quite a ways to go.
and I know we're coming to this party a little bit late to the dance. But I am definitely not a supporter of somebody's problem now becoming my problem, because I'm gonna turn back around and say, no, that's your problem. You fix it. And if
Who are
we
you
can't
referring to?
the disaster of the issue of parking down there, that they're now, throwing it on your plate to resolve for them?
So it's not,
It's not the
neighbors are
developer, it's the
complaining of
neighbor.
the
I know,
development.
I understand all of that. I understand all of that. But like, what are they trying to have you do?
So I think this is, we have to look at it as we have an issue. And as,
Yeah, the issue, the plan should have never been approved, but we can't go back in time. You know,
speak
let's
on-
call it what it is. The plan should have never been approved.
but we have to play the cards that we've been dealt.
Correct.
So right now, we're trying to find a solution to the problem that we have down there. So we're working to see what we can do so that everyone can live happily and successfully in the Norbert Street area.
I don't see parking on Main Street being a possible solution, even on the west side.
So it's, again, we're gonna have the DOT look at it, and it's something that the traffic commission, when we met, we discussed. It's a very, as we all know, it's a very restrictive area.
But if it comes before the council, I don't mind putting myself on the record. I think it'll be unsafe, because that's the reason we get rid of it.
Mhm.
So in your deliberations,
Well, I mean,
if the council is deciding on that, I think we have historical data to support the reason why it was removed, just so you guys.
Right. But I don't want,
Committee knows.
don't not bring a solution to us because you think we're gonna vote against it.
Main Street is all I'm saying.
Right,
We
yeah.
removed it. If there was parking there.
I believe we're gonna have a couple potential solutions to this problem. We're
Okay.
gonna work, we just asked that if we can have a little bit more time, that we can kind of work on some solutions to it.
Solicitor looks like he has something.
May I ask you two questions? Sure. The partially constructed building at the corner of Norbert and Main. What is the status of that structure?
So at this time, the structure, there was a stop work order due to the fact that the plans exceeded the property lines, because at one point of that building, it's on a 0 lot line. For public information, because I know there's a lot of people questioning as to the location of that building. The building is cantered. So it's, if you want to go out there and look, I had them come back with their civil engineer. They pinned the property line, which is actually partially, you'll see where the sidewalk is. So there's two pins. One is right on the corner of Norbert and Main. And then if you go in on the old St. Jean's Church property, you'll see another pin there circled with orange paint. So if you're looking at the property facing south, the corner at Norbert and Main is on 0 property, and then it canters approximately 3 to 4 feet off the property line. So there were two projections, or what we would call them in bump outs. One of the bump outs was exceeding the property line. So a stop work order was issued, and they resubmitted plans to meet our zoning regulations. So they are in compliance now. The front of the building will not have a projection or a bump out. It's just going to be flat. If you drive by, you'll notice there are guide wires that are going above the walls that have been constructed. That is not on the developer. That is on National Grid or Rhode Island Energy now. They came out, there was an issue with the guide wire when they were doing the development. The guide wire was actually on the property and was going to be in the same location as this building. They had it moved. They didn't realize that where they put it was through the new building. So as it is right now, the building is constructed, the walls are constructed, but the roof cannot go on until they can find a resolution to the guide wires going through. There is also some issues with the other side. They're still working to just kind of clear up some issues with the way that they built it, that there has to be, you'll see some excavation there. A couple of the foundations weren't put in the proper location after they built it. So that if you see some excavation, that's why they're correcting what I found to be not to code.
Okay, Matt, have we looked at the drainage issue?
So we're working on that as well, getting the as-built, and working with Depree Engineering. So we asked, that's going to be a little bit of time. As you know, it's something that we have to look at how it was built to make sure it was built to spec, but also that the drainage is draining properly. There is a drainage, as we all well aware, before this development, there is a drainage issue in the Norbert Street bike path area. So I think this is something that, yes, we have some issues going on that have been brought to our attention, but there's other issues that I think we need to just kind of look at in a totality.
Okay.
So the folks that were here last month,
Right back there.
I told us that the flooding has been terrible since the development went in. So that tells me that there were flooding issues down there, but it tells me this development is impacting them dramatically. So there were engineered plans that were drawn up that should have alleviated this. And those were signed off on, and then was the project built to those plans? It's the question.
So that's what an as-built is. An as-built is they come back to make sure that what was built to the plans. So that's what they're gonna come back. They're gonna come back with an as-built for us.
You said there was some foundation work that was done that was.
That was in the front building. That's not in the back. The front building has piers to it. So the piers, when they built the piers, and I'm saying this because I know there's a lot of questions and for the people watching and in the public to understand, because they're gonna see work being done there, that when they put the piers in, the piers didn't meet the actual where the piles were gonna land on the piers. They weren't properly set. So we had to have them remove those piers and put new piers in, so that way the piles coming down were properly set. It wasn't anything that was out of the ordinary. It was just the way that it was constructed and how the piers were put in. So they came in, they dug out the piers, and they put new piers in.
So the piers are put in the wrong place, essentially.
It's something in the industry that it happens. It's not abnormal for that to happen. And some certain circumstances, it could be the piers could get moved, but because of the structure, the amount of weight and the pinpoint of loading, it needed to be in a set position. So that's why they were removed and they have to be put back in. So I say that just so everybody realizes when they drive by and they see an excavator there, because everybody's watching and everybody's talking about it. So I'd like to set the record straight so that way everybody realizes what's going on.
And the corner of that building you had mentioned is going to be pushed back. Essentially, at the top of Norbert and Main, which that building, there was a sightline issue on that corner. I mean, talk about parking on Norbert being a problem. You come out Norbert to turn onto Main, and the building was right there. It was up against the site, so that's going to be pulled back.
No, so that is where the building is where it is where it was approved. So that's where it was approved.
It was approved by.
Comprehensive permit, I believe, wasn't it? Yes, so in other words, it was the state mandating the rules, taking them away from the locality.
So we had no say over the fact that
Very
that
little.
building was right to the corner.
Very little. It's a zero setback.
Planning board approved it.
Planning board did approve it.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
zero setback.
So under the comprehensive plan, and I'll speak a little bit, and if the solicitor needs to, under the comprehensive permit, the zoning board does not sit. The
Right.
planning board approves everything.
Yeah.
So that was approved under a comprehensive permit. So any type of relief was approved by our planning.
How? Can I speak?
Sure.
One, what's the integrity of the materials that are not designed to be exposed to weather for over a year? That building has been exposed to the building materials there is just.
Yeah, I can speak to that. The only issue, it had some building paper on it, for instance, Tyvek 120 days and it loses value.
Right, it's gone,
Which
it's
is right,
blown
but
off.
it's been replaced before they started it's gonna be replaced before they put siding on, I would assume.
There's no roof.
As
and
far
the-
as-
The boards, the two bys, the everything.
They
I
get
mean,
wet, Joe. There's no,
I know, they're not,
there's
you
nothing,
had a choice.
there's nothing in the building code that
Right.
says that wood has to be replaced.
Okay.
That's where you're going.
Well, I'm not arguing about it. I'm complaining about the reality of the situation. It's a disgrace.
Absolutely.
Can we sue and actually sue our own planning board? Because
No. No,
I don't find the humor. We're looking at something that
can't.
is built and it's an atrocity on 10 different levels.
It's dangerous. That.
And I don't,
It's-
and all I do is feel bad for the potential buyers. Cause I don't know who's gonna wanna buy it, and I would never put somebody down if they did, they wanna buy it. I don't know. I just look at it and this whole thing, to me, is just crazy.
Prefer to discuss litigation options,
Legal.
either in
options.
executive session or in a memo to the council. Not publicly to disclose the litigation strategy for the town.
Okay. So don't talk about.
And what you should be doing is just talking about the update.
Correct.
Right, so moving forward.
Right. All right. So we are addressing the drainage and I did speak with the solicitor, and even if the as-built come back as they built it correctly, if it's not working, we still have recourse to go after the engineer. So if they designed it wrong and stamped it wrong and it was built to their bad plan, we still have a recourse to actually go after the engineer that designed it. So
That doesn't help us on this corner issue, which is a real.
the corner issue is, it's a
Really significant problem and danger.
I don't
So-
think we leave it to the solicitor, but I don't think we have any options on that corner of that. building.
And just to speak on the drainage, the planner Herb and DPW Director Wheeler and I, we met with the developer because there was an issue of drainage on the south side. And so the Hope Street properties, and the developer came in, they had a plan to put some dry wells. What was happening was the water was coming down the old parking lot of the church, and it was water, sometimes it finds its own direction, but then when it gets stopped. So the new development was stopping the water, was building up. They put the dry wells in and we haven't had any complaints on that side. So I kind of look at a positive there where if we could come to a resolution on that side, then hopefully we can do, if there an issue on the other side where we can fix it, then
The
hopefully
drainage.
the drainage of the water.
That's in process though, that's what you're saying.
Yes, so everybody, we're working on this. I mean, I'm down there several times a week, working with the developer to make sure the problems that are coming up that we address. As for the street, there are some issues with trucks going down that have caused some damage. That's part of the final process. They're gonna have to fix the sidewalks that they damaged. The street was scheduled to be paved curb to curb. However, now we just got correspondence from Rhode Island Energy that they're gonna have to put another gas line. So now we have to wait for the gas line to be put in, and then that process of settlement, and hopefully by fall, I would think, we can get the street paved curb to curb.
All right, I think that we can't take action on this because it's just an update, but I do want to, someone remind me or make a note that I would like to have an executive session on this next month.
Correct.
Okay. All right, any other questions from the council?
So would that be an update in executive session, or it's kind of the same thing?
We could probably do it as a briefing by the town solicitor once he
Correct.
gets all of the
Okay,
knowledge
because
that
I
we need.
want to
Yep.
keep current.
I have a
Right,
two points.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, thank you, Matt.
Is that it?
Thank you.
Carrie?
I just want to be sure that the couple who appeared before us last month are satisfied with the communication that you're getting from the town and that you're, well, the developer,
Yeah. Can you come
forward.
on forward,
please.
please? Yeah, you're all set, man. And for the viewers at home, just please state your names.
And your address, thank you.
Yeah.
John Souza, 29 Nova.
Okay.
There's always been a problem with the street flooding. Our problem is not from the street, it's from the development next door. The last two storms, 3 o'clock in the morning, I gotta go pump my backyard. The next one, 4 o'clock, I gotta pump it out because the cellar's flooding also, which I had to put a pit in. It's from the place next door. It's not from the ditch.
Right. Well, we're working on that. I think the question was, are you satisfied with the communication from the town? We can't make the developer talk to you.
Well,
But I want to make sure you're satisfied with your interaction with the
Yeah,
town.
we want like to
Okay.
see progress, but I mean, we're not gonna wait forever because I'm tired of getting up.
I
We're
understand.
gonna take it into our own hands pretty soon.
I
and fix
understand.
it, And that's money in my pocket that I don't need to spend.
So we're not, I'm
I'm
not gonna spend. I'm
Okay.
gonna recoup somewhere.
Understand.
And as far as the system they put in for drainage, it's all done now.
Okay, well, but that's what we're trying to get that
Well,
documented.
Are they
so
gonna dig it up to see that it's done wrong?
we'll-
The bigger Rogers.
We won't know until we have the as-built and we have more information, but we are not letting this go. We are staying on top of it to the best we legally can. Okay? Thank
I
you.
know it is very bad.
I got a mud pit in my lawn.
Anything else?
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, next on the agenda is new business, and we have a presentation of the draft warrant comprehensive plan. We have been waiting for years for this.
Thank you. Herb Durfee, Town Planner.
Oh,
Going from the comprehensive permit, the epitome of loss of local control in Rhode Island, to comprehensive plan, where you have full local control for the most part. Basically, the presentation that I'm giving you with regard to the town plan is the fact that you received it. I'm not giving you an overall presentation in terms of the table of contents and all that tonight, but essentially just to acknowledge you've received it. The purpose of the delivery to you is really just still in a draft preliminary format, because what we want to do, the planning board wants to have a joint session with you folks to basically just make sure that both boards are on the same page before we try to enter the public hearing process. The public hearing process starts at the planning board level before it gets to you in your public hearing. But we want to see if there's anything that you find egregious or way out of sync or what have you. If there is, we want to keep it at the planning board level and have any changes to the draft done at that particular level. And I think that's out of fairness for you folks, because you've got too many things on your plate in order to get into the true drafting of the town plan, though you do have that responsibility when it gets to you from that standpoint. So again, just making sure you understand you have it. Please start to look at it if you haven't already. Based on a survey of planning board members and coordinating with the town clerk, moving into my second issue and trying to schedule 12 people in the same room at the same time frame on the same night is difficult.
During budget cycle.
Exactly. We believe that we have a consensus of Monday, April 8th. We would only miss one planning board member, with all due respect to Jenny. We can get all the rest of the planning board members here. And the April 8th timeframe also fits in between all of your budget hearings, your regular meetings, and all that sort of stuff. And it's intended to be a singular agenda item.
I'm adding that right now.
Yeah, what time are you looking, what normal?
The planning board 6:30, usually start at 7. I'm sure they would prefer 6:30, but it's up, you guys make the call.
6:30 is fine with me on Monday, April 8th.
I'm available as well.
Yeah, I'm putting it in right now. It's the total solar eclipse day though, just so you know.
I understand.
That which is already on my calendar.
I will disappear and then come back. And then just while you're looking at your calendars, I do want to acknowledge the efforts of the planning board over the last number of years. They really have done some person's work since I've been here in trying to move this forward. Our consultant, Allison Ring, who lives in Bristol, and she's also the planner on Block Island. She's really been the spearhead as well in trying to capture all of the comments that have been made, both publicly and with the planning board. So I'll, give them some due credit.
It is, I actually sat on the planning board for one of the rewrites, and man, it was a lot of work and it took forever. So,
Yep.
yeah, I appreciate their work. Thank you.
Sure. Quick question, Herb, the planning board has to do public hearings before we get to council, public hearings, is that?
The process of it, what we're just trying to do now is get commonality of perspective. Once we have that, what will happen is the planning board will warn their public hearing and hold it. They can make changes as necessary from that standpoint. They could continue it, what have you, but once they've closed it and they've finished up any changes, they'll forward it to you formally. Once you receive it formally, you have to hold at least one public hearing, a minimum of a public hearing. Similarly, you can continue it, you can close it, you can do the changes that you want to. When you're done with it, you will act to adopt the plan. And then right after that, we will formally send it to the state for its approval. The state has received the chapters as we've been going along, and currently there's, even though you have the full plan, 3 of those chapters have yet to get, they're at the state level, but we have yet to receive back the preliminary comment. The reason why the state is willing to do this is that we try, both the state and towns try to make the approval process of the state as rubber stamp as possible at the tail end. You obviously don't want to go through a whole process, deliver it, and then get any comment from the state. So they understand that communities want input now, so that as we move forward, we don't have to be so concerned about what the state's going to say down the road. And again, we hope it's just, yep, you've done the changes and we give you the stamp of approval.
Okay, anything else from the council on that one? No, all right,
Okay.
next is NB2. And this is discussion and action regarding the municipal road and bridge program. Who's gonna be handling this one? Brian?
I have. That's. I think I want to say the thing. I understand that the state this is a program for all cities and towns. And the agreement you have before you is for a 33% match by the state, not to exceed what, $266,000.
Yeah.
You know, my only concern with this thing is whether or not you're locked in, because this is not, even though there's a reimbursement, there is funds that the town has to advance on this thing first instance, but it's not even full match on this. Now, as I read the agreement, this isn't something that you have to follow through on, particularly on the last page of it. I've had discussions with Brian on this. I understand DOT wants every city in town to sign on this thing.
But so it doesn't lock us into.
Doesn't lock you in, but to me, this is not a program that you're gonna be able to take advantage of for the next several years.
Because of the matching.
Right.
Well, it's a great that it's a 33% match,
Yeah.
but you don't have the money for the other 66%.
Yeah, exactly, right.
So we can approve it, but, and it won't financially cost us unless we take further action.
Correct, yes.
Okay, any questions from the council?
No.
We have a motion to approve.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have agency agreement? It's not gonna cost us money unless we take
Unless we do
further,
it.
unless we take further action. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay. Next on the list, town manager. Discussion and action for the town council to approve for the town manager, construction and maintenance agreement between the state of Rhode Island and the town of Warren. I believe this is for the bridge construction.
Broken Bridge.
Broken bridge.
Yes, it is, yes,
Isn't that done?
The piles are in, the piers are in.
Sorry.
yes.
No, it's
Yeah.
still broken.
So this is something that you've already pretty much committed to. I have the agreements here. And this is just for authorization for the town manager to sign.
Okay.
I've taken a look at it, form's fine.
You're okay with it? Okay.
Well,
I
Questions
wasn't
from the
kidding about that.
council?
We haven't already entered into an agreement. This is a new agreement. I thought we had been through all this, quite frankly, but.
Because they got rid of the old contractor party.
Right.
Okay, so Cardin's went out of business, right?
Well,
Oh, there
before
we go.
Cardi went out of business, they gave this contract to another company.
That's what I thought. Okay, thank you.
Anthony, refresh my memory. This is gonna still be a state project.
Correct, yes.
They're responsible for the maintenance.
Yes,
I want to make sure none of that language is changed. Curbs. What's up?
May I have a moment, please?
Please.
Certainly.
Construction and maintenance, right?
Yeah.
And so construction and subsequent maintenance and
Yeah, who
Would
is,
you like to continue this for a month, Anthony?
Yeah, I gotta tell you, there's some confusing language here.
right, because I can't figure out, they're saying the maintenance and construction, so I don't know what they're saying.
See, it's difficult when you read 6 with 7. You'll notice in 6, it says the municipality will use or allow the use for transportation purposes only the space below a plane 16 feet 4 inches above the existing grade of the highway, or the minimum clearance plus 4 inches. That is the standard language that the state uses to basically say that this is ours and we're going to control it. But as Brian just pointed out to me, and Roy too, and Ben,
What about
paragraph 7 is the municipality must notify the state's maintenance division at least 24 hours in advance of entering a traffic signal controller cabinet for maintenance of the emergency vehicle priority control system. And the state, as representative, must cite during that maintenance. I didn't know that you were going to have traffic controls here. We need to discuss this with DOT before it's signed.
Okay, can I have a motion to continue the,
But I'm also concerned about the language about the maintenance.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
we're gonna look at what, there's gonna be a
You're gonna
traffic,
reread this whole
that
thing.
there's gonna be a traffic control, which we didn't know about, and that the state is gonna maintain the
We want to
building
make
at
sure
their
that the
cost.
state's maintaining it.
Yep,
Just reread it.
yep.
Motion to continue.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next, as the solicitor, we have discussion and action regarding the statutory notice of claim. Anthony?
You see right there, it says subject to the municipality providing for the proper maintenance after completion of the bridge replacement.
Correct, yeah.
They're saying they're using the highway funds, but then they're saying right there.
Yes,
Municipality is great.
correct. That's why we have to continue
Okay,
it. Pick up.
the lawsuit, Anthony.
Okay, so we got a trial date of April 3rd on this case. This is the Warren Gateway LLC versus the town of Warren. It's for the Gateway project. It's on the MOU. Finally got that hearing date assigned. And very shortly thereafter, I received this letter from plaintiff's attorney, Joseph Larissa, on this. And it's a statutory notice under section 45-15-5. The plaintiff intends to amend the complaint to seek damages for wrongful termination of the agreement at issue in this matter. And I'm not going to discuss the merits that he claims in this letter, but I'm going to ask you to deny the claim and refer the matter to the Rhode Island Interlocal Risk Management Trust. That is your insurance company. We have already contacted the trust. They've already given it a claims number, and I believe it's already been referred out to their own legal counsel for this. But you need to take the formal action, deny the claim, refer it to the trust.
Motion to deny the claim and refer it to the trust.
We have a second. All in favor? Aye. We have another item on the agenda from the solicitor, and this is a request of motion for executive session, which we discussed a little bit earlier. I don't think we need that. And would this be the area where we would vote to approve that contract? Yeah.
Correct. This is
Okay.
for the IBPO contract. If you want to discuss agreement that you've had in executive session, fine. If you're ready to vote, you can do it.
Yep, so basically, was everyone afforded what our counterclaim was accepted?
No,
Do you
but
have
I
some
remember what we
clarification on-
discussed.
Okay,
Yeah.
can I just?
Yes, you can.
Because I want to make sure I have it right as well. I believe our offer of 3, 4, and 4 with the retro paid over 2 payments instead of 1. I believe that was agreed to
Okay.
by them, so if we approve that, that's what we're approving. Am I correct, Anthony?
That's correct, yes.
Okay.
So.
The IBPO local has accepted the offer, yes.
Yep. Okay, that being said, can I have a motion to approve the
Motion to
IBPO
approve
contract?
the IBPO contract.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. Okay, we don't have any matters for discussion in executive session. Next, we have the finance director. Discussion and action regarding amendment to the corporate resolution to add signatures to the town's trust account.
I'm asking for agreement from the council to add our new town manager to the Fidelity.
That's a pretty good idea.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion and a
Second.
second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Next, we have the town planner. Discussion and action authorization for the council president to sign contract amendment number 2, updated design with Fuss and O'Neill. Herb?
First, I apologize. We did talk about this at the last meeting and you opted not to move forward with it, but I'm bringing it back to you for a couple reasons. One, I believe for lack of a better term, we need to get going on this project from that standpoint for risk of the grants that we've secured so far. And so I'm bringing it back to try to do it from the standpoint of at least a partial authorization. And as I put together, it would be the first step, the updated design of $29,000 of the full amount of work, which would be $122,000. That's what I'm bringing forward. In the interim, from last meeting to this meeting, I've also had discussion with Rhode Island Infrastructure Bank, because what I'm trying to do is work with them to say, hey, in order for us to get some cash flow moving from that standpoint, and the full amount of $122,000 would be covered by the 2 grants that we have so far in their entirety. Originally, we were trying to work with the SNEP grant, the $400,000 grant, to be the source of the grant funds to reimburse us. As we received the second notice of the $1.25 million, which you can tell I received a check recently behind me. I will tell you, just as a funny story, it was a little fun carrying that out of the State House on the last windy day that we had of about 40 miles an hour. That is a clear sail. But I thought I'd bring it to you just so that you could see it and that we did actually get a big old check. I tried to walk into a bank to cash it, but they needed a better ID than what I had. So, but essentially, a Rhode Island Infrastructure Bank will not do a reimbursement. What I was trying to do is see if they could front some money first from that standpoint. They won't do that. And then they brought up the idea of possibly doing some kind of a very short-term bridge loan. So there would be a little bit of a payment toward it on top of the $122,000. But as it actually turns out, they're willing to front the money by doing it directly with the contractor. And then we would use the SNEP grant to do the offsetting grant from that standpoint. So actually Reed is going out of their way to help us a little bit from that standpoint. So I'm here tonight on the agenda to talk about the $29,000, but I have a solution for the $122,000 in its entirety. My memo to you mentions 2 different recommendations. The solicitor would have to help me on this. The agenda specifically talks about the partial payment, but my memo as part of that does talk about the full amount. I think it would be good tonight, and maybe I'll second guess the solicitor in saying, let's move forward with a $29,000 And then I'll come back to you at the next month's meeting to finish out the rest of it for the 122. And also I might have a better update in terms of how we'll work this with regard to the Rhode Island Infrastructure Bank.
Okay. Herb, the question I have is, and I think I understood what you said. So basically, the financial situation, there is no out-of-pocket expense right up. Do we have to cut a check for $29,000, or that's the one's going to cut the other?
For the partial payment originally, yes, the idea was to cut some money out of our account, get that going. It would take a couple months to do that. So it would sort of like a $17,000 check and then another one after that, so that we could space it out over a couple months. What I've just tried to do in addition to that is to say, is there another alternative that I could find that would relieve us of at least having some short-term bridge funding, or in this particular case, as the REIB has offered, is that they'll work directly with Fuss and O'Neill so that we would not have to pass something through us. We'll probably still have to sign off on a work order or something, but do that. I did not know that until literally yesterday in terms of some other stuff. So I'm not fully prepared to hand a piece of paper or an agreement to you, but that's based on an email that I have. So what I'd like to be able to do is get authorization tonight for at least the $29,000. I will continue to work with REIB on getting that agreement together, which ultimately will be fully the $122,000, but we'll start with that 29. And then if with the solicitor's insight, I can come back for the other stuff to finish that out.
You mean authorization to accept their 29,000?
My question was, do we have to write a check for $29,000? Yes or no?
We don't
No.
have a financial.
No, okay.
That's correct.
That's my big question.
Right, with the understanding that I'm going to be continuing to move forward with trying to get that agreement with REIB to be able to do actually the 120.
We're not authorizing you for 29,000.
What you should be doing is authorizing the work of Fuss and O'Neill to move forward at least for $29,000.
No.
So we could be on the hook to
Right.
write the $29,000 check.
We need to know who's
That's,
gonna pay this.
I need a definite answer to that, because I don't know if we got 29,000 in the checking account. So I don't want to move to authorize to spend some money if I don't have it.
I mean, why don't we ask the treasurer maybe?
Well, first I want to find out if if he's actually asking us to expend $29,000.
He says no, but is he looking for a placeholder? Herb, I'm a little confused.
Well, first of all, what I'm trying to do is get you to authorize Fuss and O'Neill to do some work.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you guys have to authorize the scope of work. That's one of the steps, whether that's in part or as a whole.
Okay.
Is to be determined.
Who are they gonna build?
So let me.
The
let me-
bank, the
let me- let me make a
infrastructure
suggestion.
bank?
Let me make a suggestion. Authorize the work for Fuss and O'Neill in the amount requested. Condition it upon the funds being secured from sources other than the town of Warren.
I can live with that.
Yeah.
Can you live with that?
Yeah, that's what.
Will that work?
And absolutely.
Okay.
But let me read the paragraph of the email that I received so that it will complement what the solicitor is mentioning. So it says, "Hi Herb, this is from Anthony Hebert, who's the business development officer for REIB, who's our municipal contact. Hi Herb, following up on our discussion on the J. Mills Park project and the question you had on a potential bridge loan for the design engineering work with Fuss and O'Neill. Speaking with our finance team, they presented a second option where in place of a bridge loan, the town could invoice REIB on behalf of Fuss. And in this scenario, we could pay the invoices without the town having to directly incur the expense and pay out first. For this to work, we would need to have an executed grant agreement in place for the scope of work, included the activities to be invoiced for. I know you were looking at whether the SNEP or MRP grant was the better fit for the design work. And if you choose MRP, this could be an option."
Okay. So my motion would satisfy what
I
that
think so.
email has, but still keeping the town off the hook.
Okay, so Anthony's motion would authorize the work, but not financially obligate us to the payment. Is that what you're saying?
Say it again, so that Jessica can hear.
we approve it with, as long as we don't have to
Yes.
put out any money.
On the condition that the funds are secured from sources other than the town of Warren.
So moved.
We have the motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Okay,
Appreciate it.
thank you. That was like-
I know.
You
It's
got
a
more notes there,
little
folks.
complex, but I'm trying to, trying to do some creative
gathering that.
financing here.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yep. Okay, Public Works Director. An MOU for energy efficiency and conservation.
This is more of an update, based on, I believe, Chief Borges actually has already signed this to get this project started, because this is an energy efficiency and conservation block grant that we received, for $197,452.66, all completely given to us with no funds of our own. So with this program, it's going to finish the energy upgrades to the Department of Public Works and Transfer Station, meaning new HVAC systems, weatherization to the building, as well as changing out heat pumps. We're going to remove some of the propane we've been using to kind of cut energy costs at the Public Works building and the transfer station, as well as this will help fund the energy consultant for 2 years. So
Anthony,
that
you
was
read
built into this.
the MOU, you were comfortable with
I
it?
have, I have read it and I'm comfortable with it, but this is another one, this is not money from the town of Warren.
Correct. This is all going to be handled through
The grant money.
the grant funding and RISE and all the people that be. We're just there kind of going for the ride.
97,000 in federal funding, 100,000 in regional greenhouse gas initiative.
Correct.
Okay.
And they've already had their kickoff meeting. I was not able to attend, but it went well and they're eager to get going, because this was part of the original plan about a year ago, where they only got funding for our lights and that didn't cost the town anything. So eventually this will be about $250,000 that has come to us with no cost to the town.
Motion to approve, and I'll add with no funding from the town.
Second.
We have. a
Glad
motion-
that's all of our motions.
We have a motion in a second. All in favor? Aye. Okay, next on the agenda, we have the rec director. Hello, Tara. It's a request for facilities rental.
Yes, so we have two requests. The first one is an annual request from the Soames Heritage Association Day, and it's the Sunday, August 4th. Again, it's an annual occurrence, and we have no issue with it.
Any questions from the council?
Motion approved.
We have a motion in a second. All in favor? Aye. Number
This-
two is the.
The
Bristol
second
County
is,
Lions,
yep,
yep.
so this is the Bristol County Lions reached out. They would like to hold a blindfolded rowing regatta. Normally, they've held it in Bristol. They want to try using the Warrentown Beach this year, thinking that it will be a better setting. And they want to do that on September 7th, from 9 to 1. The beach is closed at that time. The beach closes, so there is no issue with
I've
parking.
attended and participated, and I'm a title holder.
You want a blindfolded
It's,
race?
it's not too dangerous with the blindfolds on, because we
No.
gotta talk to the
Yep,
solicitor about
the
that.
person at the stern is giving you the
Ah,
directions.
okay. All right.
I'm a champion.
I'm
I'm
not
both
surprised.
blind on-
I'm not surprised.
So motion approved.
We have a
Second.
motion in a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that
That's all.
being said, Joe, can I have a blind motion for adjournment?
So
Motion
moved.
to adjourn.
Motion in a second. All in favor? Aye. I think this is yours.
I read it.
Yeah, I don't,